is it?
No, not good. But...
Ooh, someone's looked out on Valentine's.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, it's a shame you had to leave today, of all days.
No, it's no biggie, really.
Well, that's not like you.
No, don't get me wrong. We've always done fun stuff for the day, but today, him leaving was the big thing. I didn't feel like big gestures or anything, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we're not the same people we used to be.
Or are you?
What?
Well, actually, this is for you.
What?
From Harrison.
He didn't.
He did. Well, I had strict instructions to be here as soon after midday as I could escape from work, so here I am.
He played it so innocent.
Did he?
Look at this.
A heart with googly eyes. I mean, what a great idea for a soft toy.
Okay, he has so out-cheesed me. I just got him a box of sweets.
He must have really thought about every item in there.
Oh, Harrison.
How was school?
Back already?
That was quick for an interview and photos.
Actually, I decided not to go.
What do you mean? Yeah, but it was for the village and the cricket team.
There'll be other interviews.
Laurence must have been fuming.
He was a bit.
I don't get it. Why didn't you go?
Lawrence didn't seem to see the beauty in difference, and I didn't want to be friends with someone like that.
But you didn't have to give up your interview.
I believe I did. I'm glad I did. I'd much rather know my friends are safe. That's, of course, if we are friends.
Duh.
I spoke to Uncle Ardil.
Oh?
He said to say hello and asked about you.
Oh, how lovely.
And he said he was going to dig out as many photos as he could get his hands on and send them with Dad when he comes.
Oh, Zainab, that's wonderful.
It is a bit. Except he'll have to tell Dad what happened.
You know, I haven't met your father, but he sounds like someone who'd understand it was an unfortunate accident.
Yeah. Thanks, Linda. Really.
My absolute pleasure. Now, I must just get these two some water.
I'll get it.
Oh.
Water for 2 thirsty alpacas coming right up.
Llamas.
I know.
So, you're really not friends with Laurence anymore?
No. He is definitely the R word, Khalil, and I don't mean rural. You know, I was thinking about what you said this morning at breakfast, and I can't help but wonder, maybe I did assume you dropped the can for the wrong reasons that day we met. I've been grappling with the thought all morning that maybe I'm the R word without knowing, which is no excuse, but...
No, I don't think you are, Linda. You're like my gran, really. I reckon that's why I like spending so much time with you.
You do?
She's a bit scary too. And she can be really picky.
Oh!
And she always thinks she's right. You're practically identical. I guess what I'm saying is, Linda, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You know that film?
Yeah, I've seen it about 1 million times because of Mum.
Oh. Well, in that case, here's looking at you, kid.
The Archers was written by Naila Ahmed and the farming and countryside advisor is Sybil Rusco. It was directed in Birmingham by Julie Beckett and the editor is Jeremy Howe.
Larry.
How dare they? Early hours, and we were still up putting the finishing touches to our speech. It shook the whole of the Grand. D.T. jumped out of bed, poked his head round the door. We told him, get some clothes on, do something about his hair. Our detectives rushed in, fretting about a secondary device. Structural damage, the lights going out. They manhandled us down the main staircase. where a few hours before we'd been drinking, celebrating. Rubble, broken furniture, shattered glass. People in black tie and gowns strewn across the floor, some blooded, crying out in pain. Others motionless, silent. Our face felt dirty, throat sore, eyes stinging. Out through the main entrance, lights, torches, frightened faces. Our detectives pushed us into a police car, driven at breakneck speed to the local station and shown into a small room. An officer came in and informed us a convoy of cars with motorcycle outriders would soon be ready to get us back to London. We said no. The man looked astonished. We told him that conference was going to open on schedule on the dot. We'd make a short speech, reference what happened, but not dwell on it. Stage about to be ours. Adrenaline pumping now. In politics, as in life, there are moments that define us. This was real life. And in real life, as a very remarkable man once taught me, we only get one take.
Calibos had every advantage. You, as patron goddess of the rich city of Jaffa, have spoiled and indulged him since birth. You gave him the worlds of the moon to rule over, and what has he done? Hunted and destroyed every living creature. Oh, not now. What, I sign here? Oh, thank you kindly. Oh, I know what this is. Wig specialities. Well, let's try it on. No, wrong way round. Let's see now. Oh, what now? Hello? Oh, Joni. Oh, yeah, I'm learning the Clash of the Titans lines. No music to them, no rhythm, meaning, point. Sorry? You were saying? No, I'm not going deaf. I'm just trying something on. Oh, it's Zeus's hair. Not really sure it says Zeus to me. Makes me look more like Gladys Cooper. No, not Gary Cooper. If only. Gladys. No, I haven't forgotten. Got all the props ready. Put some vitamin pills in a brown bottle. Practice the fall. Yes, I'm much obliged for the note, but no, alcohol does not make me vulgar, and I'll have as much as I want. God knows I'm going to need it. Nothing else? Very well then. We'll talk the other side. Now, where was I? And killed my sacred herd of flying horses, and now only the stallion Pegasus remains. Your son must therefore be punished. Who the... Oh, God. Half an hour early, and what does she look like? Dame May Whitty back from the dead. All right, woman, I'm coming. Oh, dear God, what do I look like? I can't receive her in this ridiculous syrup.
Lord Olivier.
Obviously.
How do you do? I am Margaret Thatcher, leader of the Conservative Party.
What you are is early.
Would have waited in the car, but worried someone might see.
Well, come in, out of the rain. Your coat? There's a stand for the umbrella.
Thank you ever so. I heard talking.
Oh, it's only Zeus and I in residence. Come on through.
Zeus? Oh, what a lot of pictures. All of you, looking so young.
Oh.
That one. You in Rebecca.
Rebecca who?
First saw that at the old picture house in Grantham.
The story of my whole life in one room.
And you there with
Another Maggie. Maggie Smith. Johnny, there.
Johnny?
Feel good?
You with the Queen.
That one. Ah, yes. Her Majesty so appreciative of my work. Loved how I narrated her coronation.
I had such a crush on you in Rebecca.
Huh.
Did you really?
You were so good looking.
I suppose I am a slightly blurred version now. Like someone nudged the photographer just as he was taking the shot. We lose definition as we get older. In so many ways. Ah, dear Ralphie. In the corner there. Such a quality of innocence in his acting. Oh, I always envied him that.
Not clear who I heard you talking to.
Only rehearsing, or trying to.
Oh, I see. So you're doing Zeus in a play.
Oh, too old, too ill, too tired for the board.
A film?
Afraid so.
What's it called?
You fancy a drink?
Who's it by?
What?
Fancy a drink?
No. I'm asking, would you fancy a drink? I've a few half bottles of Piper Heidsieck in the fridge.
Speaking in the house in a few hours. Cup of tea.
Oh, champagne would loosen us up.
You're too extravagant.
Some cheapskate Hollywood producer brought them round in a great big clanking bag. Imagine he hoarded them up on his flight.
Well, I don't want to be loosened up. Always keep a stock of these in my handbag. D.T. and I wouldn't countenance anything else.
So, D.T.?
Guess.
Dorothy Tewton.
Dennis Thatcher.
Ah, yes, I see. Tetley's. A tea bag. What exotic taste you two have. I've some proper loose-leaf Earl Grey.
We know what we like.
Very well, then. I'll just put the kettle on.
Goodness. Oh. I'm sitting on something. It's not a pet, is it?
What? I speak up. I can't hear you in here.
Something furry. I've sat on it. Is it a pet?
That is not a pet. It's for the part.
I see. A hairpiece. Don't you think it might make you look a little... feet?
Dairy girl in ancient Greece.
Well, I'll leave it here for you to do with as you will. And may I just say, Lord Olivier, how grateful I am to you for seeing me.
We've an awful lot to cover in an hour, if we're to spruce up your presentational skills.
Kettle's boiling.
Yo, yes, so it is.
Let me come and help.
I can manage.
I insist.
Huh.
Goodness, all these dirty dishes.
I thought it best to give my housekeeper the day off.
You wash and I'll dry.
Oh, please, there's no need. My woman's back tomorrow. And, you know, this is obviously not something I'd ever admit to John.
John?
Osborne. But I just don't happen to believe actors should ever have to wash dishes. Oh, come on, I'm not serving tea in here.
Oh, very well.
Milk? Sugar?
Just a drop of milk. Thank you.
If you change your mind, I brought in a second half bottle of fizz.
I won't.
Well, I certainly can't face another kitchen sink drama. Not with you, anyway. I was hoping we might be playing a drawing room comedy. You and I. Or possibly a Whitehall farce. Of course, we might end up in a fine romance.
Will Lady Olivia be joining us?
No, women brandish my wife's name at me like they would a crucifix at a vampire.
Where is she?
Journey? Oh, our place in Brighton.
Don't you two find it boring down there? Nothing ever happens in Brighton.
Brighton, the next step on my inexorable journey to that great playhouse in the sky.
None of us getting any younger. Policemen starting to look young to me.
Chelsea pensioners look young to me.
You can't be a day older than 75.
I am 72, thank you very much. But the years aren't being kind, they're being downright vindictive.
You're only as old as you feel, dear.
I wish you'd got to see me on stage. In my prime, doing something worthwhile. Not this decrepit old thing before you.
So little time for theatre. And you know, dear, I never really feel at home there.
Theatre unites, brings us together. Communities, all sections of society, rich, poor, young, old. Places that glamorize intellect, final emotions. Humanizes us. Secular temples where we go. Do you really think I'm decrepit?
Of course not.
Well, you didn't contradict me.
You were in full flare.
You know, theatre is the only place I feel at home.
Always involves people with nothing much to do. Expense to the public purse. And you know, I wonder what these words like community and society actually mean.
Every bit as important to find money to expand people's horizons, that inspires, makes them look to the stars, as, well, maintaining the gutters.
Just about everyone who works in your world abhors me and what I stand for. And I am sorry, but the feeling is mutual.
Let's see a play together soon.
No time. Party at battle stations, election any day now.
You see how theatre brings out the best in people.
President Lincoln might demur.
A cheap shot.
Yes, but it still hit him. Honestly. I've the greatest respect for you, Lord Olivier. You're not like the rest. You get your hair cut. You wear suits. You polish your shoes.
Respect me because I polish my shoes.
You're acting as well, of course, but we both know your trade is
Profession.
full to the gunnels with raving socialists. Things I hear Vanessa Redgrave saying, and that other one I keep mixing her up with, Glenda Jackson.
Do you good to get out of the common.
But that's where I get things done. Serve our country.
Where you go to bicker, sow division, bring out the worst in each other, and us. Excuse me.
Of course.
Hello? Well, baby, it better be good. I've company. How much? My goodness. Well, yes, take it. A remake of the jazz singer. I'm the Jewish cantor. Barely makes the change from the Nazi dentist. What range old Larry has. Who else have they roped into this stinker? This jazz stinker? Neil Diamond. Pop star, is he? On this money, baby, I wouldn't care if he was an orangutan. Yes. Ciao, baby. My agent.
So I gathered.
Old men always speak too loudly. It means you can never get away with anything.
I've no problem with people making money. Indeed, I very much approve.
No one goes into acting to make money.
You've not done too badly. This lovely house.
I sacrificed so much those years of the National. They cost me, you know, not just financially, my health. I feel I've earned the right to put something aside for Joni and the children. Of course, I was happiest when I was starting out in rep, crummy little bed and breakfasts. Mould on the walls, hungry, not 2 brass farthings to rub together, but...
I've known poverty too. but I feel absolutely no nostalgia for it.
I had something then you couldn't put a price on.
What?
It was all ahead of me.
Mustn't think like that.
Someone your age could never even begin to understand someone my age. Oh, forgive me for getting so emotional, but you see, acting, it's the greatest love of my life.
Can't imagine Lady Olivia would care to hear you say that.
Joni, same.
How long have you been together?
Getting on for 20 years.
D.T. and I are coming up to our 30th.
When I first saw Joni, I thought, there's a woman who'll be able to get me up off my chair when I can't manage it. Yeah, I saw it as a sort of heavy lifter, I suppose. Always been practical.
Have to think practically about marriage.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I did fancy Joni.
I knew D.T. would be kind.
Physical attraction?
Lord Olivier, that is none of your business. I was expecting a formal lesson.
What have we actors got to work with but ourselves, who we are, what sort of lives we've lived? Our experiences, passions, that's all we have. So, trust me, it is my business.
I'm not an actor.
I can't see how you can lead a country if you aren't.
Poppycock.
Anyone who stands before the public has to be an actor. Only difference between us is I approach it on a professional basis.
I write my own lines.
I happen to know your speechwriter.
Be that as it may, D.T. and I weren't love-struck teenagers. He'd been married before.
Never got involved with a woman I didn't desire. At least to start with. I mean, what's the point otherwise?
I think it's patently clear we approach life very differently.
We all have our needs.
The difference is, some of us can control them. Our drinking, too. I thought you brought that one in for me.
It isn't always easy.
You could have all the sex in the world, and maybe you have, Lord Olivier, but it wouldn't change anything. Not like you'd feel any better for it, and it'd be of any practical use. You'd still be sitting here with me in your front room on a rainy Monday.
Is it that you don't enjoy sex?
Presented my husband with twins.
Spared you putting yourself through the ordeal a second time?
What matters to me isn't the sex, but the kindness. People who've been supportive, loyal. That's what one remembers. That's what endures.
Doesn't anything turn you on?
What I will be remembered for, judged by, and that is my career.
My career has always been important to me, but I've also...
I think I'm going to need a second cup.
Pass me another tea bag.
Still some life in the old one.
It's in the pig bin.
Can't abide waste. Well, here you are then, a new one.
Thank you. I'll reboil the water.
May I inquire? Your beard. Wasn't expecting that.
Shylock a nose, Richard III a hump, Zeus.
Feel like I've got off on the wrong tack with you.
Your tea.
Thank you. Well, you seem to like that Piper Heidsieck.
You're a two-piper problem.
The truth is, I've never found it easy talking about myself.
I fancy it'd be easier giving a body massage to an armadillo.
What? So, what is this film you're doing?
Clash of the Titans.
Sounds like Prime Minister's questions.
We've superior leading players.
Who else is in it?
Oh, a lot of old stagers like me. Flora, Sean, Maggie, my darling Claire. But the star is a young chap called Harry something or other.
How thrilling for him to be acting with you.
I doubt he even knows who I am.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, there are days. I wonder if I'm a household name, even in my own household. That young man's name will be above the title. The youngsters will know all about him. The star, you see, because he's the one they want to jump into bed with.
Sex again.
Well, look at me. Nothing works anymore. Harry and I will be playing, well, Good cock, bad cock.
You're obsessed.
I may not be an intellectual. Never went to university, as I assume you did. But one thing I do know, and that is sex sells films. Everything. Politicians.
Well, DJ and I will try and see it when it comes out.
Oh, please, don't. Seriously. Worries me, you know. After I'm gone, there'll be people who see rubbish like this. All that's going to be left, of course, and they'll think, well, this Laurence Olivier, the one they said was so special, the man in the effete wig. Well, is that it?
Gordon Reese reveres you.
Ah, your PR chap, the one who propositioned me.
No one understands television better than Gordon, and he says you're the one to show me how best to utilize it.
All this is Ronnie Miller's idea, I suspect.
Yes. You mentioned you knew my speechwriter. How exactly?
Well, I put on one of Ronnie's plays, and he wouldn't stop going on about politics. Yes, I'm sure that old fox choreographed all of this.
We're here now, aren't we?
And we might as well get out of this what we can.
This must remain our secret forever. Even in your memoirs, when you do them, I don't want to see my name in the index.
I know the form when it comes to prime ministers.
You've met some of my predecessors?
You've not landed the part yet.
I know I can do it, and it's all about whether the country can cope with the idea of being led by a woman.
Well, perhaps not a woman who is too obviously a woman.
Not too obviously a woman.
Still feminine, but dominant, strong. That's how I see you in the role.
Oh, it was about the arguments, not play acting, at least when I started out. The papers would run speeches in full. Intellectual rigour was what counted, not mere theatrics.
Even Winston could see things were starting to change.
I have his portrait in my office.
He was a friend.
To have got to know the great man.
I'm sure there were people just as wide-eyed when Winston said he'd got to know me.
Well, yes, but...
It made Henry V just for him. He saw how that film would matter for wartime morale. Saw how I mattered.
I didn't mean to...
Oh, look, it's finally stopped raining. Would you like me to show you the garden? Stretch our legs.
Maybe some fresh air would do us good.
So seldom get a chance to open the French windows. I'll turn the lights on.
Goodness, you do like your
A bit bedraggled. Joni normally cuts them back in the autumn. Says they keep the moth away.
So wonderful in full bloom.
Only for a short time, and then they get terribly boring. Like careers, I suppose. Are you a gardener?
DT's territory. He tells our friends his idea of contentment is the lawn freshly mowed, a gin and tonic in his hand, and his wife in a relatively tranquil frame of mind.
I'm warming to DT. Hey, Concord! Right on time.
So noisy.
That old girl knows how to make an entrance. You're warm enough?
Fine, thank you. Do tell me more about Sir Winston.
Well, Winston was an actor, too, you know? I was on stage once, I think it was Richard III, and he was in the audience, muttering the words from the third or fourth row. Always a split second ahead. Distracting, but he knew the whole script. Dickie Burton told me he did exactly the same thing to him.
We all love Sir Winston because he was Sir Winston.
You think he didn't come to me for advice too? That stammer. I helped him make a virtue of it.
Tiresome the way you see everything through your particular prism.
And the way you see everything through yours. Anyway, I'll show you.
Show me
A politician who can also act. Well, baby, has Winston showed anything is possible if you can pull that off?
Don't think anyone's called me baby before.
I'll call everyone baby. Saves having to remember names. What should I call you if not baby? Maggie?
Only headline writers call me that.
So, what?
Margaret.
Well, Maggie, baby.
Please, no.
You mind your step by that pond? It's quite slippery.
Seldom seen such enormous carp.
Really, baby, there's no need to look so worried.
I'm not worried.
What then?
I just feel what we're doing is simply dishonest. I realize I don't want anyone to find out about this because I'm ashamed. When Gordon told me I should see you, I could see his argument, but it doesn't make it right. Politics shouldn't be about this. I know very well what my father would say.
And how is your dear father?
Still dead.
Forgive me.
Actually, it is getting a bit cold.
Let's get back inside then, shall we? I'll turn the fire on. Yes, realistic, isn't it?
I thought it was real.
Oh, surely. You realize nothing is what it appears to be. Well, certainly not on television. So far as the millions glued to their sets are concerned, Downing Street is just another road off Coronation
But
Street.
dear, I know I can win the next election as the real me. People can identify.
With a frugal little housewife.
You don't understand the first thing about me, Lord Olivier, and frankly, I don't understand the first thing about you.
Precisely why we might learn from each other.
I can do without the personal rancor, and you know, I don't understand why you agreed to do this at all.
Need a bit of help with my final scene.
Your final scene?
I just want to be accorded my due.
Well, I won't be able to improve on a peerage if that's what you mean. If it's money, I can get that.
Yeah, we'll worry about settling up later to the practical part. Baby, what are you going to read for me?
At last, down to business. I've got it right here. I think you'll be impressed. Where should I stand?
Over there, I think, by the window.
Here. How do I look?
It's a great problem with real life, isn't it? Never anyone around to do the lighting. Let me come and position you.
Oh, are you all right?
Yes. Just felt a bit unsteady then. Would you pass me those pills over there?
How many would you like?
Just one, thank you for now. They help, you know. Along with Dr. Theatre, of course.
Do you think you should phone Dr. Theatre?
Well, actually, no.
Funny he should be called that.
Yes, isn't it? One bit of advice I give anyone getting older, just don't fall over. So many of my friends have been coming a cropper lately.
Yes, I read about Sir John Kilgood.
Yeah, slipped going down the stairs.
At his home, wasn't it?
Yes, in Buckinghamshire, yes. I thought it was the end, so I raced down to see him in the local hospital. What a fearful apparition confronted me. Bruises all over. Could barely talk.
Awful.
We sat in silence for a few minutes, just the two of us. And then all of a sudden he grabs hold of my hand, looks into my eyes, and in a voice racked with pain says, "It means the world you've come all this way, and I want you to know I've always loved your work." Now, Johnny had grown a bit resentful of my preeminence as he'd got older, and it had been a long time since he had said anything like that, and I confess, it made me tearful. I leant over and kissed him very gently on his great big forehead, and he smiled beatifically. In this very private moment, a nurse came along and kept saying, "Excuse me," and I told her to let us be, but she kept tugging away at the back of my jacket, and I kept ignoring her, until finally she blurted it out. "Lord Olivier, I am so sorry, but this is not Sir John. It's an old farmhand who was knocked down this morning by a combine harvester. You see, we had the curtain around Sir John when you walked in. There he is, look, in that bed over there.
Awful.
So, I grabbed the grapes I'd given this fellow. He didn't want to let them go. And the nurse led me to Johnny. She said all he'd done was break his coccyx. And so I immediately presented him with the remaining grapes and told him what an awful scare I'd had, thinking he was the poor wretch opposite. But then again, don't all old men look very much alike? Of course, I knew I'd misjudged the whole scene dreadfully. Johnny's face was puce with fury. Puce! He threw the grapes on the floor and told the nurse to show me out. And as I beat a retreat, he shouted, "Lauren, I shall never forgive you as long as I live, seriously mistaking me for that horny-handed and mangled son of the soil over there. How could you, Larry? How could you?" Awful. And so you keep saying. Don't you find that even remotely funny? Joni laughed like a howler monkey.
You're still a bit unsteady, dear. I'd sit yourself down on the couch for a bit.
Sofa.
Pardon?
Couch. So awfully common. And pardon, for that matter. Say what?
I'm sorry.
No. Say what? Not pardon. Definitely not I'm sorry. Sofa, not couch. And you said front room a moment ago. Drawing room, please. This matters to the sort of people you need to get on side.
All my life, people have been saying conservative politics isn't for the likes of me.
And you know, I was thinking, if you do get into number 10, you should start to employ the royal we.
Dreadfully pretentious.
Well, you and I have both come from nowhere, both straining to make ourselves acceptable to the people around us. We have to be the people they want us to be. I tell this to young actors who think they can perform Shakespeare in a Cockney accent. Oh, God!
Are you all right, Lord Olivier?
Another pill,
Oh,
please.
of course, of course. Shall I get you some water?
No, thank you. I'll wash it down with the fizz.
Oh, wouldn't mix pills with that.
Oh, Maggie, baby.
You seem groggy.
Where am I?
I am Margaret Thatcher. You...
Oh, yes, so you are. I thought it was all some ghastly nightmare.
Just rest on the couch for a bit.
Sofa.
You're obviously coming too.
So, tell me, is Mr. Reese getting you to see anyone else? About your wardrobe, for instance.
I've 3 business suits, including this, and 1 dress all in blue.
Nothing more casual?
I'm never casual. But I do, however, possess a great many high-heel shoes.
What are you, a centipede?
Gordon is always getting in hairdressers and hatters and people like Norman Hartnell, the horseman of the pursed lips, he calls them for some reason, but I don't see the point. I mean, what's so wrong with me being me?
You know, all my life I've wanted to be anyone but me.
Daddy made me believe I could be whatever I wanted.
Ah, that man must have loved you.
Always ready to give, always there, wanting the best for me, willing me on. That's as good a definition of love as any. Surely yours loved you too.
Not for who I am, and certainly not when I needed him.
You had your mother.
That's when I needed him. Lost Mummy when I was 13. I think of all the women I ever wanted, and all I wanted was for them to be like her. When I think of the attention I craved in my career, maybe it was to try to make up for...
Wasn't I going to read for you?
You're not very interested in other people's lives, are you?
Just impatient to make the most of my own.
Well, round a bit then. Say, from that table to the bookcase.
Well, How am I doing?
No, baby. That won't do at all. We have to pass you off as a Prime Minister, not a waitress laying out doilies in a tea shop in Hove. Walk around as if you own the place. Head up. And if you find yourself in a corridor, walk down the middle, glaring at anyone who has the effrontery to get in your way. Project power. Use those eyes. Think visionary thoughts. If you're not thinking about anything, it shows in your eyes. Think what you plan to do for the country. You have a plan, I take it.
Of course. A big plan. Let me
Let me find you a book. Yes, this will do. Another one about me, I see. Here, put it on your head.
It will fall.
Not if you keep your head up. Back straight, that's the point.
Do you mean like this?
Bigger strides, please. Everything needs to be bigger. Yes, bigger. Bigger. You are trying to be a bigger character. Now, pick it up. Keep going.
Am I getting any better?
Look a bit more stern, will you? No, not Mussolini stern.
Better?
Yes, an element of danger, too, please, in those eyes.
Danger?
Yeah, they always said the danger in my eyes was why people would look at me on the stage. I'm not sure they'll be able to make out your features up in the gods. Everything needs to be bigger. Including, by the way, your hair.
Hard to have big hair when you've got a book on top of it.
You are fair. Your eyebrows need definition too, otherwise it's just a vast expanse of flesh between your hairline and your eyes.
DT wouldn't approve.
Well, if you want to go on television and look like a boiled egg, listen to DT. What does old Uncle Larry know?
Can't do this.
Pick it up. Look, stay there. I need to come and arrange you.
Lord, Olivia, what are you doing?
These very clenched, aren't they, baby?
What?
Your shoulders, your hands. Let me open them up. Now, to seduce your audience, you need to be confident. And to be confident, you have to be relaxed. And of course, if you can seduce people, you can make them believe anything.
I wasn't going to read for you.
Yeah, so you were.
I have chosen this. St. Francis of Assisi.
Seriously? Well, it's absolutely fine on the Mount of Olives, but I'm not so sure about Downing Street. I mean, why not go the whole hog and hit them with John 14:6?
Which one's that?
As any vicar's son will tell you. That's I'm the way, the truth, and the light.
Too soon.
Look, it might work in America, mixing religion with politics, but it doesn't here. It's not our cup of tea at all. Let me find you something. This. Now.
Not friends, Romans, countrymen.
Well, greatest political speech ever written. Just focus on the delivery.
Very well. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I've come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is...
No, you have to be Mark Antony. Find his centre.
He's a man.
When you're outside number 10 on the day you're hopefully elected, who'll you be addressing this to?
Journalists. And if I'm saying this to them, they'll think I've lost my marbles.
Never mind about the journalists. Look at the cameras. And you'll be going over their heads and talking to the people directly. And let the microphones do the work. And I'm sorry, baby, but your eyes are still as blank and empty as Archie Rice's. Look, just flirt, baby. Flirt. I flirt with women, I flirt with men, I flirt with anything that moves. One of the secrets of great acting. Just imagine someone you find really physically attractive. Surely there is someone.
Well, all right.
Who?
I wouldn't say Cecil is uneasy on the eye. Looks a bit like you, actually, when you were younger.
Cecil who?
Parkinson, one of my bright young men. When I first met him, I felt vulnerable.
You felt vulnerable?
Of course not. He was vulnerable. Vulnerability in a man I find attractive.
Then imagine you're talking to Cecil. And flirt.
Not how I was brought up.
Oh, just try acting, for God's sake. Take it from he hath brought many captives home to Rome. Go! Go!
Oh no! Don't move. I'll come and help you onto the sofa. Oh, I can't. Oh! Lord, you're squashing me.
Who you?
Margaret Thatcher.
What are we doing?
You've been taken poorly, dear. I was trying to stop you falling, and you've ended up on top of me.
Did we?
We most definitely did not.
Well, you said you had a crush on me.
Yes, go on, go. Crush it. Now you're crushing me.
Never done it with a leader of the opposition.
Well, I'm done now, then, open then. Sorry, but I can't breathe.
Life is a joke that wears pretty thin as you get older.
Lord Olivier, get off me.
Well, if you could just try turning, it would help me to...
turn.
Well, just a little. It would give me the propulsion I need to roll off you.
I'm no heavy lifter.
Turn, baby, turn!
I'm trying.
Keep going!
Yes, I'm out.
I hurt my shoulder. Your jacket has come apart.
Oh, goodness. So it has. I can't fasten this.
What?
I can't fasten this.
You can't fart in it just as well.
I said I can't fasten it. I can't fasten it.
Oh, I hope a bit of Grantham slipping out there.
You are insufferable. D.T. and I find vulgarity unforgivable. But I dare say you aren't yourself.
I'm an actor. Anything is better than being myself.
You're really not well, are you?
Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Please, just talk plainly.
You asked me what I wanted in return for doing this. There is something. Not for me, but Journey, the children, my profession. Of course, left to me, I'd be happy with a local send-off.
Where are you going?
That great playhouse in the sky.
Can I make you an Earl Grey?
Early grey.
The tea you like.
You know, the water closes over our heads quickly enough. So I want to make something of my passing.
How?
In just 3 words.
Well,
A state funeral.
for you?
Of course for me.
To ask for one already? While you're still with us?
Hardly ask for it after. I'm an actor, acknowledged as the greatest. You can't blame me for wanting the greatest of all exits. People who know about these things, friends in the Lords, reckon mine is a strong case. And you could as Prime Minister.
For monarchs, perhaps. And then there was Sir Winston. I suppose he was the last commoner, but a very special case.
Narrated his for television. Whole nation hanging on my every word.
Watched it on a neighbour's set.
It was said, my words, with a sound of tears.
We had to keep banging it. We got the pictures all right, but not the sound.
You saw that snap of me with Her Majesty? The genuine affection and respect in her face. And there are other commoners who have had state funerals.
Not in her reign, and the cost.
Always the cost with you.
The disruption to central London.
Ask yourself, has anyone else communicated Britishness in the way I have? Personified our country, our spirit, been a more effective ambassador? And, I was thinking, perhaps Johnny could narrate mine, his every word, dripping with bitterness and envy.
All of this presupposes you die on cue during my government's term of office.
You'll be good for 4, if not 8 years, and my doctor's made it clear I'll be lucky to see that out.
Quite a few moving parts to this.
Soon, baby, there will be one very rigid part.
An awful lot to expect for one acting lesson.
One day, you'll look back and appreciate what I did for you, showed you what it's all about. Rising to the occasion, making the most of the big scenes, recognizing you'll be judged by them, and that in real life, you only get one take. I see a lot of me in you.
Look, Lord Olivier, this is all very interesting, but I really must be going.
Still Lord Olivier?
It's our first meeting.
Baby, only my housekeeper calls me Lord Olivier.
Not seriously comparing me to her. All you've done today is knock me.
Knocking away at the marble to release a Prime Minister.
No! You're being patronising. Yes, I am a grocer's daughter, Alderman Alfred Roberts, JP's daughter. Proud of it. You weren't close to your father, were you? Well, I'm sorry, but I loved mine. That man had relatives who died of starvation because they were so poor, and yet he made something of his life. He made a success of that business of his because he worked all hours, wouldn't ever contemplate giving up.
Bravo! Bravo! Bravo!
Sorry.
Oh, don't you see?
What?
How great it can be when you draw from something inside. You've really found your centre.
Some things are real, you know.
Not in my world, baby. Not in yours.
I need a whiskey.
I thought you were about to speak in the house, but, very well. And I might as well finish off this fizz.
Darker than that.
Dark enough?
Your very good health.
Someday.
Is there anything else?
There's someone at the National Theatre I'll put you in touch with to build on what we've started with your voice.
I'll discuss it with my people.
You like my Lefroy?
Prefer bells, but it's doing the job, thank you.
You and your statues, me and my state funeral. It's something inside us, isn't it? Maybe an emptiness.
Politics fills it for me.
When I'm playing a great role.
But before a big speech, an important television appearance, a crucial vote, I'm always trembling, terrified I won't be good enough.
Oh, I know that terror. Every perfectionist knows it. But then there's the greatest terror of all.
Yes, I know.
All the hands that reached out over the years to touch me. First nights, film premieres, sometimes even in the street. Random individuals. That connection, that affirmation. Can't face the idea of them letting go.
You're one of the... I mean, you are the greatest.
Already, I hear them saying, I've had my day, that my style of acting has too. It was how I was trained, I know of no other way. And these young actors now, they come along, mumbling, shuffling, doing their method stuff. What you said earlier, it's true. None of them even look like me. Spotty, long-haired youths calling themselves the new Olivier, while this old body is still warm. And believe me, the day will come when you hear them talking about the new Thatcher. Just don't let anyone take it all away from you. Not without a fight.
When you've worked as hard for it as we have.
Made so many sacrifices.
I really must be going, but one question, if I may, before I go.
Very well.
Lord Olivier, have you been acting? That time you collapsed, I mean, you seem fine now.
Don't ask a magician to discuss his magic.
Honestly, if I can see what you've been up to, even you, with all your talent, the whole argument you've been trying to make, everything that this has been about, what Gordon thinks is so important, it all falls flat, doesn't it?
You really want to know what this is all about?
So long as it won't take too long. As I say, the time I need to be getting back to the house.
I was overseas, touring, some godforsaken place. One night, I heard a negress singing in a bar.
Oh, no, I wouldn't like that, dear. Not these days.
If ever I saw any hope or strength in the human race, it was in the face of that old fat negress getting up to sing about Jesus or something like that. I never even liked that kind of music. But to see that old bag...
Old bag?
That old bag, singing our heart out to the whole world... And you knew somehow in your heart that it didn't matter how much you kicked people, how much you despised them. If they can get up and make a pure, just, natural noise like that, there's nothing wrong with them. If I'd done one thing as good as that in my whole life, I'd have been all right. I wish to God I was that old bag. I'd stand up and shake my great bosom up and down, and lift up my head, and make the most beautiful fuss in the world. Dear God, I would. But I'll never do it. Well, do you think you're going to do it? Well, do you?
Well, I hope I'm going to do it. But really, you're being too hard on yourself.
Wasn't myself.
Early night for you, dear.
Really, wasn't myself.
Not sure I understand.
I was Archie Rice, a character in a play, The Entertainer by John Osborne.
But
those were lines from that play. I made you believe in them, didn't I? Made you believe that was real.
honestly?
Maybe I've shown you something of the wonder of performance. And maybe, too, the danger of it. Of course, all the parts we play, and it'll be no different with yours. They are just sculptures in the snow.
More than that.
Never more than that.
Would you be so kind as to get my coat?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
And your umbrella. One last thing, if I may. What you said about society, community, culture. These words, they do mean something, you know. Take them away, and I wonder what'll be left.
A country standing on its own 2 feet.
You said yourself it's kindness people remember. Try to show them some of that. And have a care with our country's soul.
Good night, Larry.
Break a leg, Margaret?
Mr. President, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, the bomb attack on the Grand Hotel this morning was first and foremost an inhuman, undiscriminating attempt to massacre innocent, unsuspecting men and women staying in Brighton for our Conservative conference. And the fact that we are gathered here now, shocked but composed and determined, is a sign not only that this attack has failed, but that all attempts to destroy democracy by terrorism will fail.
In When Maggie Met Larry by Tim Walker, Margaret Thatcher was played by Frances Barber and Laurence Olivier by Derek Jacobi. When Maggie Met Larry was directed by Richard Clifford and is a Catherine Bailey production for BBC Radio 4.